Bry's Comics.
In this video, we have a really interesting opportunity. If you're interested in buying 10-cent and 12-cent Silver Age books in bulk, how often do you get an opportunity like that? But in addition to that, there's a really cool story here, a really interesting story about Tony and him coming into possession of this collection, and just some interesting conversation about how to sell a comic book collection if maybe you don't necessarily know that much about comics. I think there's something for everyone in this video, but before we hop into it, I want to remind you that we have a monthly giveaway here on the YouTube channel. If you subscribe, comment, and like, you're entered to win a free slab. And if you head over to bryscomics.com and sign up for the newsletter, you get first shot at new collections as they come through the shop, mystery boxes, and so much more. Use code COLLECT10 for 10% off all in-stock items at bryscomics.com, and that code is always active. Slab Mayhem is this weekend over on Whatnot at 5:30 Pacific time. I go live on Whatnot on my Whatnot channel. Link down in the description for $15 towards your first purchase if you're new to Whatnot, and you can use that $15 on any purchase on Whatnot. I'm going to bring an Amazing Spider-Man 129 starting at $1, the first appearance of the Punisher, and there's tons of premium giveaways on my show, well over $500 in giveaways for some really awesome slabs. Some people have asked what Slab Mayhem is. It's just a really cool promotion that Whatnot is doing. It's going to be on everybody's respective Whatnot channel, and they're just encouraging people to bring their best books, their best giveaways, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So I hope to see you this Friday at 5:30 Pacific time over on Whatnot. So let's head over to the shop and meet Tony and talk about this collection. So I have Tony here with me. Tony, thanks for coming to the shop. Thanks for coming on the show.
Happy to be here.
Let's start with, first of all, just show you guys, this is what we're talking about here today. This is the collection, and at the end of the video we're going to go through and we're going to actually flip through every single book in here, which will be a real treat. Some awesome 10 and 12 cent DC stuff, some Marvel stuff, some really cool stuff. But let's start with how you ended up here in my shop, because you didn't even know who I was not too long ago, isn't that right?
No. I was helping a friend run a garage sale. The person whose sale it was is moving, and she's like, "Oh, I have some comic books up in my closet. They were my father's." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, let's take a look at them." And then she brought these just boxes of comics out. They weren't bagged and boarded. We had to go through and do all that. But I started flipping through them, and I noticed that they were all like 10, 12 cent comic books. And I mean, literally my hands started shaking because I know how expensive some of those can be. So, I told her, I do a little bit of reselling off of eBay, but nothing with comic books. And I said, hey, I'll look into it. I'll bag and board them. We'll go through them, see what we're looking at. And, realizing the extent of the thing, I was looking online for, how to tell what grade some comic books are, what about their worth. And I actually ran across your videos and realized that you live really close to me. So I brought them up here.
Yeah, so a really interesting situation that I think happens a lot is, people find themselves in a situation where they have this collection and they go, okay, how much is it worth? And while that question in itself, how much is it worth, is sometimes hard to answer, the other question is, how do I get what it's worth out of them? How do I actually sell them? And you actually did a great job with the spreadsheet, because you emailed me an actual spreadsheet with every single book in this collection, which is the beautiful thing about this. If you're interested in buying this collection, we have it fully inventoried. And you started to go through and you started to look at the eBay values.
Yeah, and trying to figure out what something's worth, going through and going through the sold listings and everything else is just, I don't have the volume of experience to be able to pull up a comic and say, oh, this is about a $60 comic, and put it down. So, I went through and started trying to do that, and I got like 30 books in and realized I'm over my head with trying to price everything out individually. And like, well, let's get an idea as to, if we tried to send some off to CGC and get them graded, it's going to take, a year to potentially do that. Is it worth even taking the time to do something like that?
Right. I think you started with actually the best way to start, which is looking to see, we called it a house comic. Is there anything in the collection that you can buy a house with? Is there any mega grails? Is there anything that is going to just catapult the whole thing into a different conversation?
Yeah. And I actually used one of your videos where you went through the key comic site, and then there was a couple other where you could actually see what after you get them graded, what they tend to go for. And by using the key site, I was actually able to look up and see, do I have any of those mega grails? Most of them, there's none in here that I think are going to run like a 9.0 or above.
Okay.
I think most of them are probably mid, if not low, because there is a few that have some like covers that have rips in them and stuff. But most of them are intact and actually pretty good for like I said, especially for the 8.
So I think the first thing that you did, find out if there's any mega grails, and as you mentioned, using keycollector.com. Key Collector is amazing for this. I think you can even do most of what you need to do with the free version. And
I didn't pay for it, so.
There you go.
Yeah.
So there you go. So for example, pull up Key Collector, and if you have a bunch of adventure comics, you can just go through and start with your issue number. This starts with 266, and see if any of those books, and what you'll notice with something like this is there'll be some big gaps in Key Collector for where the keys are, because it won't be in Key Collector unless it's a key. So. Yeah. So you'll see these big gaps, and you'll see, oh, I have all these books that aren't in Key Collector. Well, why aren't they there? Well, it's because they're not necessarily keys. So that's step 1. And then step 2, like you did, is look at what they're actually selling for on eBay. And as you mentioned, there's a big range. If you have from, I think one of the books was it low $10, high $500? So there's a huge range, obviously, depending on the condition of the books. And some books are, harder to get in high grade than others, and so there could be an even bigger gap between the different grades. After doing all of that, we went back and forth and had this conversation. I like to buy it, and then I'm always trying to figure out how much can I offer for this and still make a profit. It is a lot of work to bring this many individual books to Whatnot. Sometimes I get hit on the price, so it's very difficult to figure out what a good price would be. So what we decided to do, we actually threw around a couple options. One was me buy it myself, and I thought that's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of work to sell all of these. So I wasn't too keen on just buying them outright. And then the second option was, like I did with another friend, is what if I just had a Whatnot show and sold them all and then took a percentage and did it that way? That also seemed like it's going to be a lot of work. And the third option, what we landed on, which seems to be just the easiest for everyone involved, is let's sell it as a bulk lot. And so then we decided, how would we come up with a good price for this? There's 340 books. And so if we priced them all at $10 a book, that would be $3,400. And again, some of them are worth much more than $10. Many of them are worth less than $10. All right, Future Bri here. I just had a chance to look through all of the boxes, and I saw all of the books. And I found these gems. I didn't know these were in here originally. We have Flash number 110, which is in really decent shape. You'll actually see these as I look through the entire collection, all of these different Flash books. I did an evaluation of the grades and looked up values. And these books alone, after they've been pressed, cleaned, and graded, would be worth somewhere north of $2,000. So what we're doing for the pricing of this, and of course you'd have to pay for grading and pressing and cleaning, which would probably be around $400 or $500. What we decided to do for the value is $10 per book. There's 340 books. That comes to $3,400. And plus shipping depends on wherever you're located. I'm just going to put the weight as 50 pounds, and the website's going to be 3 separate boxes. I'm going to eat it a little bit on shipping because it's going to be 3 separate boxes. But $10 per book, and that includes, books like this. This book right here is probably, $700 to $1,000, even just raw the way it is. I think that's a fantastic deal for this collection. $3,400 with all that 10-cent Batman, all that 10-cent Detective, 10-cent Wonder Woman. I mean, it's just a really cool opportunity for someone. And that's how we arrived at the price, is $10 per book. And then I just take a percentage off of that. You get your percentage off of that. The original sellers, which weren't expecting much out of this at all, right?
They honestly had no idea. It's not something that this isn't going to send them into retirement. They're not like waiting with bated breath for the money. So it's one of those things that's like it's a nice to have. They also get rid of some stuff, and they don't have to move with it. So
right.
It's something that I think everybody will be really pleased with.
Right, and especially the end collector. I think this would be a great opportunity for someone. I mean, how often do you get the opportunity to buy bulk 10 and 12 cent Silver Age stuff? You just don't get that very much. And at the price point of $2,500, epic reading. It's just an epic, and I don't necessarily think, you know, it would be a wise thing to do to try to flip like at $2,500. You could make money off of it, selling them all individually, but I think this will appeal mostly to the end collector that loves these titles, that loves these books, that and these books will get to be read and enjoyed. And in that sense, everybody wins. So yeah, so hopefully one of you is interested. Thanks so much for coming down and for doing this.
Happy to do so.
Yeah, it's a really interesting video. It's a really interesting process. It's fun. I hope you enjoyed, you know, looking up what you did.
I actually really did, and I learned a lot about it. Yeah.
Great. So let's hop into these boxes and actually dig through every single one. Here's the first of it. We've got Hulk 184, Hulk 214, Jimmy Olsen, Superman's Pal, 10 center, some more 10 cent. Ooh, 10 cent Adventures of Jerry Lewis. That's a cool cover. I think what you're going to find if you're interested in this lot is that there's just so many books that are just going to bring you joy, you know, like this, doesn't this book just bring a smile to your face? Like just wanting to open it and figure out what is going on there. And then, you know, also the fact that it's such an affordable price for the thing. And there's just a whole bunch of books like that in here that are just smile bringers. I'm going to call them smile bringers. I think this is a minor key for Brave and the Bold, if I'm not mistaken. Some Justice League. All right, so that's that. And then I took those out of this box so I could flip through here easier. So a bunch of Justice League, some 30 centers, some 30 cent Justice League. Let me take these out so we can get some more light in there. Teenage Tornado Kathy, and this is another smile bringer right there. Just some cool 10 cent, you know, romance type stuff. Of course, the inevitable what's her name, Lulu. Some 10 cent Lois Lane, a bunch of 10 cent Lois Lane there. Masked Rider #1, that's cool. Marvel's Greatest. Some Millie the Model. I actually would love to own a Millie the Model #1 in my personal collection. That book is freaking awesome if you haven't seen it. And I think also Millie #4 is cool if I'm not mistaken. Mystery in Space, 10 center. Patsy and Hetty. Patsy Walker, 10 center. Showcase Presents, 10 center. Some Sergeant Rock. Our Army at War. Linda Carter, Student Nurse, 12 centers. Some Superboy, 10 centers. I think someone is going to jump on this opportunity to get all of these 10 and 12 cent books in bulk. Superman, some Superman, 10 cents. One of the Supermans was a big one that was like $500 in high grade. You know, as far as the condition, most of them are probably going to be in the very good range, like closer to the very good. Very good to very fine, but most will probably be closer to the very good range, like 4s. If I had to put an average on the whole thing, I would probably say average of 4. Marvel 2-in-1, some 2F Draculas. I think that's a minor key right there. Tomb of Dracula 12. Is that the second appearance of Blade? Timmy the Timid Ghost. Tales of the Unexpected, 10 centers. War Spangled War Stories. Wilbur. Wendy the Good Little Witch. Ooh, a 10 cent Wonder Woman. That's cool. Another 10 cent Wonder Woman. And another. And then we jump to some 40 cents. And then back to the 10 cents, which is awesome. Look at all these 10 cent Wonder Womans, y'all. World's Finest 10 centers. Bunch of World's Finest 10 cents and 12 cents and back to 10 cents. Probably one of the most expensive books in the lot. It's Casper the Friendly Ghost #1, a 10 center. So that is a really cool find. And then we have a bunch of these that just didn't quite fit in Silver Age bags. Some of them are, you know, missing either the whole front page or the top half of these books. So not a ton of value here because of the condition. But some of them, like that Casper the Friendly Ghost, is a good one. Some 10-cent Dell. Some of these 10-cent Dells, you really have to check the issue number, and sometimes it's hard to find the issue number. Like this just says Bugs Bunny, like it doesn't have an issue number on it, and you have to actually open the book to find out. But some of those are actually really valuable, but they're far and few in between. Heartthrobs, 12-cent, or some, you know, I love me some 12-cent romance novels. I went on a whole rabbit hole on that at one time. Some 10-cent Walt Disney and Bugs Bunny. This is the #1 title that most people are just shocked that they aren't worth more money. People that don't really know about comics think that these 10-cent Disney ones gotta be worth a fortune, right? So here's another stack here. And so 10-cent Superman, Looney Tunes, Walt Disney, some more Walt Disney. Spooky, that might be a good one. I know some Spookies are really valuable. 10-cent Superman, Giant Superman Annual, another 10-cent Superman, 10-cent World's Finest. And again, there's a whole inventory list of this over on the website. Superman's new power is to shoot rainbows out of his hands. Heck yeah, I'm surprised I haven't seen that cover before. G.I. Joe, and that's it for this stack. All right, so this is the first chunk out of the second box. I just took it out so I can flip through those better. Doc Savage, Falling in Love, 10-centers, some Fantastic Four, 10-cent Flash, 108 and 109, and there's a good one, Flash 110, 10-center. I'm going to have to set that aside. And the Elongated Man as well. Some nice Flash books here. Very cool to see those. I'm going to set all of those aside and just double check condition and stuff like that. Some 40-cent Flash, some GI Combats. Ghost Rider 28. 10-cent Green Lantern. I think this is the second appearance of Sinestro. I'm going to check the condition on that as well. Homer Ghost, nice robot cover. Hot Stuff. Elvira's House of Mystery, awesome cover on that one. House of Mystery 10-center, House of Secret. All right, so I'm going to do the 10-cent actions here as well that I just took out of that box over here. So we got some 10-cent action. Nice brand new bags and boards on all of these. So those are all the actions, and now we come over here to the adventure comics. So we got a bunch of 10-cent adventure comics. Planet of the Apes, 1, 2, 3. Planet of the Apes, 4, 5, 6, 8. So a decent run of Planet of the Apes. Some 10-cent Archie. Some Archie's Girl, some Archie's Pal. And once again, these are all listed over on the website. Batman 125, so if you wanted to look and see some 10-cent Batmans. So if you wanted to look up each individual one, you can do so. Nice little run of 10-cent Batmans. Some Black Hawk 10-centers. Black Panther, which is actually, the title's actually Jungle Action on that. Captain America and the Falcon, 213. Do we have 217? We do not. Casper. Champions. Crypt of Shadows. A Date with Judy. Some 10 centers here. Awesome covers on these, you guys. They always have the funniest captions on those. Some Detective Comics 10 centers. Devil Dinosaur. And that's it, Doc Savage. So there you have it, folks. I hope somebody picks this collection up and just truly enjoys the rare opportunity of buying so much Silver Age goodness at a very decent price. I think somebody will be very happy to take this home. Thank you as always for sticking with me to the end of the video. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and like for your chance to win a free slab each and every month here on the YouTube channel. And if you head over to brycecomics.com and sign up for the newsletter, you're entered to win a free slab each and every month, in addition to getting first access to tons of awesome books. Tons of great deals always happening over at Bryce Comics. Use code COLLECT10 for 10% off all in-stock items. Don't forget to follow me over on Instagram for Trades for Grails. I'm hoping to get a bunch of new grails towards the end of May. And lastly, follow me on Whatnot. Link down in the description for $15 towards your first purchase. We're having a ton of fun over there on Whatnot, and I hope to see you there. So thanks once again, and we'll catch you in the next video. Bye.
Bryce Comics.